I know.
All right, I got 6:30. Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. Start the roll call.
John Phillips,
Marcus Bush.
Lori Lund, Amy Reiser,
Tom Parcher. Derek Workman.
Eric Johnson.
Andy Pritchard,
Ryan Morford. I go.
Sarah Say, Brittany Corba, Jenna Emery, Sarah Baker,
James Art. Todd Nees.
Caroline East,
Brandy Nace.
Chris Schneider.
Kendall Parcher, Ashley Parcher, Henrik Parcher,
Michael Parcher.
Heidi Naylor,
Dana Dunsberger.
Mary Kay Vandervelde,
Rock Banner.
John Latola.
Welcome all. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Start off with good news. Ms. Corlett.
All right, so we're state of page fair. So I am pleased to be awarding Kendall Parcher with the 8th grade Student of the Month Award. She is the daughter of Michael and Ashley Parcher. She has one sibling, Kenrick, who also attends Rockridge. Outside of school, Kendall enjoys a variety of activities. I'd say it is quite a variety, including softball, bowling, basketball, fishing, boating, hiking, and hunting. I don't know how you have time for anything else if you're doing all those things. While at school, she participates in choir, band, and basketball, and her favorite subject is science. Her favorite book is The Outsiders, which Ms. Lopez also loves. So we all love that this year. Her favorite food is boneless honey barbecue wings, and her favorite memory thus far this school year has been having classes with teachers that she can look up to. People would say that her top 3 qualities are that she is trustworthy, funny, and nice. And over the years, she has received a variety of awards, including a positive office referral, a bowling scholarship, bowling trophies, softball medals, and she's earned her hunting lessons. In her free time, she enjoys playing with her brother, hitting softballs to her puppy, playing catch with her mom and dad, and also getting pedicures with her mom. She looks up to her parents because they never fail to make sure that she has the best day. In the future, Kendall would like to pursue a career in welding and mechanics. That's pretty cool. I like that. One thing Kendall would want people to know about her is that kindness and respect towards others means everything to her. So that's pretty powerful. We have some kind words from the staff. So Ms. Lopez says that Kendallin is a responsible young lady who is kind to her fellow classmates. She participates in class and is polite when she speaks to adults. I will say from my own experience that Kendallin is always the student that says hello in the hallway. No matter what she's doing, she's always very polite and kind without a doubt. So keep that up. Mrs. Bazzari says that Kendallin comes to class prepared and eager to learn each day. She actively participates in class discussions, contributes thoughtful insights, and asks meaningful questions. I also currently have her in my MTSS, and I see the same positive behaviors in that class as well. Her engagement in class creates a positive learning environment, and it has been a joy getting to know her this year in 8th grade. Mr. Henry says that Kendallin has done a great job participating in class, and she's a hard worker, and you are very deserving of this recognition. Mrs. Ford, our school secretary, says that she had the pleasure of having Kendallin on the basketball team last year while in 7th grade, and she showed immense tenacity while growing her skills and never gave up once. Her can-do attitude and school spirit was palpable to all and would often invigorate the team when we may be down during games. She always gave 100% during practice and did her best to understand her role on the court. Kendallin was an excellent teammate and was the kind of coachable players coaches dream of. These skills will take her far in life. And then Mr. Strahan says that Kendallin Parker is a young lady that has come to class with a positive attitude and tries really hard. She is a joy to have in class and is very helpful with the other students. Her attitude and effort have so far this year been outstanding. And I'm happy that we are recognizing Kendallin as the 8th grade student of the month. Those are some very powerful things. So keep up what you're doing this year and you will go great this year, right? And a lot of words. One for your mom. Congratulations, and that's for you. Thank you.
Okay, I'm Sarah Baker. I didn't realize I was presenting it this way, so I apologize. The student of the month at the high school is Caroline Nace.
I have my dad, Donnie Neese, and then my mom, Brady Neese.
Okay, so I just have a couple things that her teacher said, and then some from some friends as well. It says Caroline is outgoing, trustworthy, dependable, and motivated to help her fellow students. She is also a model student in the classroom and willing to participate in class. She has integrity and puts others above herself. She is a very worthy recipient of Student of the Month. Another teacher said Caroline is a responsible and caring individual. She goes above and beyond to help others and is a role model for younger students. Caroline is the president of the NHS and a leader among her peers. Another teacher said Caroline is such a dependable leader for our marching band and always does everything with a smile, which is true. She always has a smile every time you see her. Another teacher said Caroline is currently my student in psychology and one of the coordinators of our Gray Matters chapter. She is very social and tries to brighten the day of anyone she encounters, which makes her a great advocate for mental health at Rockridge High School. In class, she is open to helping any fellow student who needs it, especially with her famous Quizlets for a test. Because of her value of good mental health, Caroline is an active member of the larger Gray Matters collective throughout the Quad Cities. She spreads the message that everyone matters and believes that all people need to know that they are valued and that they need to stay here for another day. A student, which I think is really, really telling because students know, kids know, says Caroline has always been a light for as long as I can remember. We have been in the same school since kindergarten and have always considered Caroline a very kind and loyal friend. Whenever you need help, she is always willing to jump right in. I see her as a leader, especially in ANHS where she is very active as the president. Something silly I had to mention. She always says, "Bless you," when someone sneezes, which I find very respectful. I don't think I've ever heard her miss a chance to say "bless you" to someone ever. So proud of you, Caroline. You deserve this. Can you guess who wrote that?
Ariana.
Molly Hawk.
Okay. Okay, I thought it was Molly or Ariana, one of the two.
And this one is Ariana. By the way.
Okay.
Caroline is an amazing friend who you know you can count on. She is kind and understanding, as well as having a great sense of humor, and is seriously the nicest person I have ever met. And I can attest to that. I was really excited that she got by far the most nominations from our teachers because she's always so positive, so cheery, always willing to help. And in fact, this summer, there were several different things that I needed student volunteers for. And every time before I knew any of the students, I would ask for a student volunteer. Her name came up every single time. So even if it was something random, like we needed a student group to come to one of our professional developments, they were all like, Caroline will do it. Caroline will be great. And we needed somebody, and we needed somebody to speak at our freshman orientation. Caroline would be great. So her name comes up all the time as a leader in our school. So we appreciate that very much. So that's for you.
Thank you.
And you can have this too.
Sweet.
And then do you mind taking a picture? Okay, we did get another picture, but we were both wearing Hawaiian, so we need a professional one. Thanks.
Ms. Dunsberger, I believe you're up.
Oh, hi. Well, unfortunately, my students did not make it. They told me they'd be here, but now they're at work and homework, and Jackson Parcher, we all know, was in an accident. He's out in Eau Claire, so he can't, his truck got out in the parking lot last week. Anyway, regardless, he can't make it. This is Landon themed. We entered Milan Harvest Festival this year, and it was a last minute thing. I found out about it, and I'm trying to get all the kids into as many art fairs as we possibly can. Landon has been in quite a few art shows. This actually was in Geneseo, and he sold 2 pieces in Geneseo, but he did not win a prize. He did sell this, and we got it back to put in the Milan Festival, and he won 2nd place for it. So if you see Landon Thane, congratulate him on this. I should probably bring these up with my wheel's not so good right now. And these didn't get the recognition last year because it was at the very end of the year. The Geneseo Festival, Fine Art Festival, which was yet another one. We had tons of students enter. I think we had 28 pieces. And Jackson Parcher, this is graphite. Jackson Parcher won honorable mention. And Ariana Starr won 2nd place. And I'm really impressed with the kids these days. They've really been coming into my classroom. Can I come in and draw and paint? And since the phones are gone, it's so quiet, and these kids are really working on their art, developing problem-solving skills, as I keep telling them. I can get 38 boxes from IKEA, and I don't need directions. So if you see Ariana Starr or Jackson Parcher or Landon Thane, give them a high five and congratulations, because they're just, these kids are doing great things in art. So thank you. Thank you.
All right, Mrs. Baker.
We had our first Fist Bump Friday, last Friday during homecoming week, and 12 students from Andalusia that were nominated were actually picked up by Mr. Bainter and delivered to our school bright and early so that they could fist bump all the students, the buses coming in. I think they had a great time, so we loved having them. So I hope they got to see the big kids, and the older kids and the staff really liked it too. So I would like to take this time to invite the school board members to a Fist Bump Friday on September 26th. If you're available at 7:40 a.m. September 26th at 7:40 a.m. That's when the buses start rolling in, so even 7:35. And we always wear maroon on Fridays, so if you want to wear maroon, we'd love to have you.
South entrance, correct?
Correct, yep, the high school and junior high entrance also, so it's a lot of kids coming in at once.
All right. Okay, very good.
I put this on here. I also want to thank Ms. Baker because the kids were so excited about it. But I do want to honor those fifth graders that were chosen as leaders to start the year this year. So we had Kelly Four, Dale Kuhlbeck, Ethan Kozak, Jocelyn Ringel, Ashton Calvert, Janelle Cook, Kennedy Dean, Nolan Wanick, Claire Furlong, Mason Foley, Eliza Hicks, and Dylan Mills. So congratulations to that first group. And I think we'll be doing it a couple more times this year. So.
Very good.
And
All right, groundbreaking ceremony.
I mean, thank you to everybody that came out that made it really special. It was fantastic. I think the board brought up about having it on that night. I think it turned out really great. Had a lot of positive comments, a lot of positive press out there. It's a big step for the Rockridge district, and really appreciate everybody being there and making it special and what it was. It's really exciting. Really exciting. They get started today. They got some equipment moved, and I think some ground stuff located and so on and so forth. But yeah, we're looking forward to it. Thank you all that came out. Made it special.
Great. So is the entries officially closed down there?
Not as of right now, I'm just waiting for it to see how it's going to play out. And I'm just got it out there and be done with it. So I mean, it's Facebook official. So I mean,
Yeah, sure.
So,
Okay.
you know,
Fair enough.
so, but yeah, so we're really looking forward to see a lot of stuff getting moved.
Very good. All right, well, that concludes the good news. If you're just here for good news, it'd be a great time to exit. Otherwise, if you want to stay for the whole meeting, you're welcome to.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming up here.
All right, at this time, we'd open the floor up for public comments. Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Everybody have a chance to look at the consent agenda? Was there anything on there you wanted to discuss further, or if not, I entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as written? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Same sign. Okay, motion carries. Moving on, presentations.
Not sure which one wants to go first.
Who wants to go first? Ms. Nehru or?
It's done.
Oh,
I'm gonna, if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna just sit up here and do it.
that'd be fine.
You're really not a great place to stay, remember? And I don't know if you guys noticed how winded I was through that last presentation.
Oh, you had this cold or something. Or
Oh, I
sinus
have had a head cold, but it's just everything. The baby's taking the air from me, yes.
That happens. So I've been told.
All right, so I've got up on both screens, presentation about this year's data, and then I've got a little recap of last year's data too, because I presented in January last year, so you guys didn't get the full year's data. So we're gonna start with just a little recap of last year. So here's where we're talking map data for majority of the data points. The other thing that I want to point out before we get into all of this is we have this 60th percentile that I'm going to reference quite a bit throughout this presentation. And that is the 60th percentile on the map assessment, which correlates to IAR, and that's the score that kids, or the percentile kids need to fall in to get a proficient in IAR. So we hope that our scores correlate over to IAR, and those kids are getting that proficient, yes.
Acronyms, you got to tell us what they are.
So IAR is the Illinois Assessment of Readiness. So that is the state test that our kids take in the spring every year. And it's also the test that goes on to like our Illinois school report card and gets publicized out. So that's the score that really represents our school and we get like rated on. Math is more of a data point that we use. So there's a correlation that we hope happens, but two different tests, I can't really guarantee that. But if we can work towards that goal of the 60th percentile on this, then hopefully the kids will put forth that same effort on that Illinois Assessment of Readiness, and we'll see that.
And this was our first year of math testing in the junior high.
No, we've done it for a while.
Okay.
This is just the first time we've shared the data with you guys.
Right, okay.
And the last couple of years, we've, at least since I've been at the junior high, we've tried to utilize the data a lot more. I do believe it wasn't utilized as much previously. So we do goal setting with the kids. So the kids get these goals or these scores every fall, winter, spring. They have a goal sheet where they create their own goals based on their RIT score, which that's an acronym that doesn't really mean anything. It's just a number they get. The percentile is what really makes sense, which is basically their comparison to their peers. So the goals for last year was 80% of our kids at the 60th percentile. And that came from Mr. Bush, where we want 80% of our kids at the 80th percent, like 80th percent or like average. For math testing, that's a very lofty goal. And we talked about that last year being, yes, we're rooting for the 80% of kids, but we also know we're starting at 37% of our kids. Getting to 80% is not super likely. And so we'll talk about that as we go through and we see where we're at this year, because this is last year's data and I'm very happy where we're starting at this year. And so we'll get at that. The other thing to note is last year was our first year with a new reading curriculum. So some of our reading data is not where we want it yet. But what we found last year is that our students coming in have a lot of gaps, foundational gaps. And so our teachers are reteaching a lot of materials while balancing also trying to teach the curriculum with fidelity, because it's a new curriculum. We want to see if you like it and if it's working. But there's still a point where if our kids can't read those texts or they're struggling with a certain skill, we still have to reteach. So we did only get through about, I'd say probably 60% of the curriculum last year. So our goal is to get through more of it this year as teachers are getting more comfortable. And as we have students that are coming up through the elementaries that have a new curriculum that hopefully are improving some of those foundational skills, that we'll be able to get through more of our curriculum up here and see a higher increase in our reading data. So anyways, this is last year. Our starting point was 37% of our students at the 60th percentile, and we ended with 47%. So a 10% increase. That star is doing weird things every time. Our 7th grade, we went from 36% of students to 54%. So 18%, so definitely happy there. And we'll talk about these percents a little bit again, because I did have my teachers create goals, but again. And then 8th grade, this one's interesting because we had our students started a little bit higher, so we did see a little bit less growth. And we'd like to see more growth than that. And so our goals will reflect that a little bit this year as well. Our 6th grade made huge growths for math. Our kids came in with only 21% of students at the 60th percentile, and we ended with 58% of our students at the 60th percentile. So we're working very hard in 6th grade. And you'll see actually, in all of our math data, 31% to 54%. Big growth. And then in 8th grade, 45% to 71%. So seeing 71% of our students at the 60th percentile by the time they're leaving 8th grade feels really good for our staff, because what we're doing is we're seeing that increase every year from 6th to 7th to 8th. So junior high math is not always easy. Those of you who have junior high students, it's not. And the kids have to work really, really hard. And this is definitely evidence of the hard work that they put in. Because if they were not putting in this effort, they would not be getting here. And for our teachers as well, it's not always easy to be a math teacher in the junior high because parents can't help their kids a ton with some of the concepts, especially when they start getting into pre-algebra and algebra. Parents lose those skills. So anyways, I'm very, very happy with our math data. And we hope to continue to see that growth plus more, where we can continuously work that 70% up to 80% by the time they leave the 8th grade. So that brings us to this year's goals. So this year we have a reading goal and a math goal, a vision rollout goal, which I hope some of you guys have seen our Reach Rise represent. That's going to be what our 3rd goal is. And then we're going to continue our career and college readiness goal. So our first goal, we're at 52% of our kids at the 60th percentile for math reading. After looking at our data, we'd really like to end up with 70%. Obviously with the end goal or a long-term goal of 80%. But for this year, where our kids are at, I think it is reasonable to get to 70%. And then this bar graph or line, I don't know what to call that, shows where our kids are currently at. So when we talk about kids going to the 60th percentile, basically we're looking at the 25% of kids in the yellow. So those kids fall in the 41st to 60th percentile. So those are the kids that we're moving from the yellow to the green. So it's our core instruction that we're looking at. We're not, with these goals, we're not looking at our interventions. That would be our reds and our oranges. We're looking at what are we teaching every kid every day. And that's really targeting those yellow kids. So for 6th grade, we're starting with 39% of kids, which is higher than where we started last year. And we have a goal of getting to 50% of our kids at the 60th percentile by the end of the school year. So again, targeting, we have quite a few kids in the yellow, 26 kids. So that actually, I could see us having more than 50% of kids if we can really make sure our core instruction is on point. And feel free to stop me at any point if you have questions about anything. 7th grade reading. Now this is interesting. So we're starting at 59%, but if you recall, our reading data that we ended with last year was not this high. So we saw a pretty large growth over the summer in our 7th grade reading data. So I don't know if those 6th graders went home and read all summer long or what happened. So that's something that we have to keep in mind, especially for the 7th grade reading data, is that they scored a lot better than they did in the spring. But
How late in the year do they take that spring test?
beginning of May. So there really isn't a ton of, there is instruction afterwards, but I wouldn't expect it. I mean, I don't know what the number
And
was.
this was how late in the, what, a week to 2 weeks into the school year?
First week of September.
Format's the same every time.
Yeah. Now, I will say this year overall, we had our kids took a lot longer than they usually do. That was very evident because usually we get done all of our students within about 60 minutes. And we had a ton of kids that needed an additional hour to do it. So maybe these 7th graders realized what we're putting into it and they understood the importance for it, hopefully, but.
It was early in the year and they hadn't checked out yet.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a nice day. So anyways, interesting. We'll have to keep an eye on the 7th grade reading data and see what happens. But we have quite a few kids. Well, we have 13 kids in the yellow. So basically those 13 kids are the ones that we'll be watching to move up. Where the 3 and the 15 will be getting some interventions. Anyway. 8th grade reading data, also is a little bit higher than where we ended. So 58% of kids in the 60th percentile. So I'm not mad at any of these numbers, but I am curious to see what's going to happen. So we also adjusted our goals a little bit. So we are hoping to have 68% of our students. So a 10% increase, which is very similar to the growth that we had last year, but our numbers are very different. So when the higher percentage of students closer to the 60th percentile, then it's harder to make growth. So very curious to see with our reading data. And this is where we started last fall. So this is just a reminder that we started a very different place last year as we are starting this year. So interesting, just data points. Data is always interesting. Here is our math goal. So our math goal, because we had larger growth last year, we'd like to see our 47% go to 75%. I thought it was a very lofty goal, but my math teachers think that they can do it. So that's where we're at. And then individually, here's our starting data for 6th grade. So we have 41% of students already at the 60th percentile. And Mrs. Stone King would like to get to 60% of students at the 60th percentile. Again, we have a lot of kids in the yellow, so I think it is doable. Our 7th grade math data, or 7th grade math, is starting at 54%, and would like to get to 69%. And then the other thing about 7th grade, which we had a lot of discussions, is this is where our pre-algebra class starts. Now that doesn't necessarily help our kids in the yellow, but hopefully it can move some of our kids that are in the 70th percentile move up to the blue. And then also allow the standard to streamline some of her teaching during those other 3 class periods. 8th grade data, we're starting with 47%. Mr. Henry really wanted to set a goal of 80%. So if you ask him, he said 80%, that's where we're gonna be. We had a conversation about it. I was like, well, maybe we match our goal from last year, or our growth from last year. So we have 72%, but if he doesn't hit 80, he's gonna be disappointed. But again, he has a lot of kids in that area that is close to moving up. So if he hits 80, I wouldn't be surprised. He does wonderful things. All of our math teachers really do. Again, this is where we started last year, 21, 31, and 45. So we're starting out higher this year, and I'm really happy to see that growth is sticking from year to year. Our 3rd goal is our vision roll-up. So if you haven't seen our Reach, Rise, Represent, this is what our staff has decided as our vision. We also created a mission as well, but the vision is what we're really pushing for our kids, because we want our kids to know this, say this, understand what it means. So some things that we've already started, we've got this sign out and about. We've got t-shirts with this on it. We wear our t-shirts every Wednesday. Every day in the announcements, this is getting read. We had class meetings that went over what does this mean to you and how does this apply to being a junior high student and why is it important. We have our positive referrals this year that we're continuing, but this year you will get a positive referral for reaching higher, rising stronger, representing with pride. And then we still have some more things we want to do this year. We're going to get some stickers to hand out when we see kids doing these things. And I guess I should explain what it means a little bit. So reach higher is like the goal setting aspect of this. Rising stronger is doing the little things to meet those goals. So all the work that you put in, that's how you're going to rise to the occasion. And then representing with pride is the kids all, like I said, had meetings and we talked about this. We're gonna have contests where the contests are gonna be more attendance based, but we're gonna do some different contests where we have a banner that travels and classrooms can win it, or grade levels can win it. And that way they're seeing this hanging in their classrooms and being present. And then I would like to order a small poster to put in every classroom. I just haven't done it. And then more, whatever else we can think about to try to really get our kids to buy into this. And then our final goal is our career and college readiness. The photos are from last year's JA and John Deere field trips. But this year we've got a couple things already booked. We've got a JA Inspire, which is a career like expo that our 8th graders are going to attend on November 13th. And then the future Building Future Career Expo is a trades, construction trades specifically. So we're not going to take every student. We're going to do an interest forum where if kids are interested in the trades, specifically the construction trades, they can sign up to go. We're still working out the kinks on exactly how we want to do that because I want to make sure kids that are going are kids that are interested in that. Just a free day from school. 7th grade will do, yeah, they would never do that, right? Finance Park, which they did last year, which is basically building a financial life and having to live through a simulation. We had some good feedback from that last year. And then the 7th grade students are also able to go to the Building Futures Career Expo, so they will go to that. But I will say 6th grade is where we struggle. A lot of 6th graders are not invited to these things. So I will say we did not meet our goal last year with finding something for them to do for career. So if you know of anything that 6th graders can participate in, we're wanting to do something, we just don't know what it is. And a lot of, like I said, a lot of things that do come my way are 7th and 8th grade and high school oriented, but I feel like you're getting the short end of the stick here. So that is our parent goals for the year. Any questions? All right.
This is really great. That's a good story.
All right.
Last meeting until probably January, so.
Yeah, so I had to slide in, so we have 2 presentations today. I wanted to make sure I did this before I left.
Mine's a lot shorter. When I had to get this over to Dawn on Friday, we had not completed all of our math testing or our cell screener. A little bit setback there, so. I'm gonna mostly just talk about our iReady data that we have. Okay, so in Village Elementary School, just some updates on us. These are our friends that Mr. Boehner chauffeured up here last Friday morning to do the fist bump. So a fresh picture of some very excited friends. We currently have 1 preschool classroom in my building. We have 4 3rd grade classrooms, 4 4th grade classrooms, 3 5th grade. We have 270 students and we're growing. A couple move-ins coming in September and October. So we're growing. Our current reading and math curriculum is iReady. So this is our first year doing the math portion to iReady, but it's our 2nd year with our reading. And this is our first year with our new social emotional curriculum, which is now Character Strong. So last week we did math and social emotional screeners. And so I don't have too much there, but I will, come winter, I can go over both those. So the goals that I will be creating once I have everything complete, I'll be making my reading and math off our iReady diagnostic assessment, our iReady math diagnostic assessment, and then that screener. This is just some overall grade level data. 42% of our students in 3rd grade were at or above grade level for 3rd grade. 37% at or above grade level for 4th and 5th grade. Last year when we started the year, we started lower. So like Brittany, we're starting higher, which tells me that it's sticking. The curriculum's sticking with the kids. We're not seeing as much of that loss. I did look at the math data and it actually had our overall building at the 45th at or above grade level. So that's all good news. So currently 38% of our third through fifth grade students are at or above grade level. That yellow there, they're marked as one grade level below, so those are our kids that are in our core that we're really targeting. The kids that would be in that 2 grade or 3, those might be students that are receiving intensive interventions, or they are students that receive specialized instruction in those areas. So the yellow, I really hope we can shift this year. We saw a huge jump last year. I think we went from 36 to 56% on grade level. And by the end of the year, we were at 60% of our students were on grade level. So since we're starting a little higher, our third graders came in with a year of Amplify. Our students have experienced a year of iReady, so I'm setting it low for now. This should be by winter, not even, this should be winter of 2026. 44% of our third grade through fifth grade students will be at or above grade level. I'm still just trying to gauge this, as it's a new measurement. And so it's not super high by winter, but if we shoot it out of the park, then I'll be more confident to spike it for the end of the year. So that's actually our winter goal. Math. We have 11% of our third grade students on grade level for math. We have 19 in fourth and 26% by fifth. So we're chipping away at it. That yellow, what is consistently showing in both math and iReady data is that yellow, that's our core. Majority of our students are with the core, we're implementing a grade level behind, according to standards. So I'm hoping this year they're going to be challenged. I think that we are going to see frustrations in some of our students and things like that. But I love that iReady has that personalized instruction for them, meeting them where they are. So even when we can't be hands-on with them in that moment, as you know, teachers have to rotate through their kids, they're still getting something at their grade level. So this was kind of hard to guess where we would be at. This is kind of how I felt last year too. But our baseline is that only 18% of our third through fifth grade students are at or above grade level for math. So this is supposed to be winter too. By winter, I'm hoping that a quarter of them, that we'll get a quarter of them up there by the end of the year. I'd like to see us closer to the 50th percentile.
You take those winter tests before Christmas break?
We've done it a few different ways. We found that when you do it before break, they're all crazy. But when they come back after break, they forgot they went to school for half a year. So
Pick your poison, huh?
yeah, it's kind of a pick your poison. I will say that iReady we did before break, and I want to say math we did after this past year.
We did them both before break last year, but this year we're gonna do iReady before break, math after break.
So, and math is, it's the same in math. We just don't have strong math scores right now, but I am confident we'll get there. I know our students can do it. I think, unfortunately, we're using our curriculum that put us in a situation. So, but we're gonna get there. Like I said, we've completed our fall cell screening, but in order to get this over to you guys on time on Friday, we still haven't finished. Everybody hadn't finished that in math, so hopefully by winter I'll have more. Short and sweet. I'll get those scores up, I promise.
Any questions for Mrs. Sen?
All right.
All right, next up. Ms. Mary.
Yeah, so I want to share with you first. Look at this. Yeah. That's why. Which one? Oh, okay. Got it. Okay, just gotta find the right TVs here. All right. Let's see, I wanted to. Yeah. Classes, please. Okay. So I am proposing a trip for high school students to Florida in February. I just want to start with some of the educational aspects to it because the biggest part of this trip is that it's actually educational. So just this is a flyer that they sent me. History and marine adaptations that they go through, dissections, invasive species. There's an earth dive research project that students collect data on, and they put it into a national database. Plankton, marine animals, sea turtles, and just a sample itinerary. It's a 3-day program, and so it's all inclusive. So it's hard to see this, I'm sure, but
That helps.
yeah, when you blow it up, it helps. So they have like day one, they expect people to get there, and like I said, they feed us, they give us a place to stay, and they train us on gear, snorkeling, and what kind of wildlife they'll see out on the reef. And this is on an island. And then, just for example, we would go out to Sombrero Reef snorkel trip on a catamaran and snorkel for a considerable amount of time. And then lunch, I believe that's on the boat. And then invertebrate biodiversity, that's a part that it gets entered into the national database. Then tide pooling and snorkeling as well. And then just biology on different organisms. And then there's the history portion of it. And then the next day they expect that you will depart, but they still have things available on day 3 as well in the morning. So I just wanted to share that first because I just think that's a great opportunity for students, just knowing it's not just, it's an educational program. So I'm going to show you guys kind of my ideas on how I would go about this and the costs. So the biggest cost here is the $560 per student for the program, actually at the Keys. And then I was looking at Moline airfare, and that would be $412 round trip per student. There is also going to need to be a coach bus of some sort. And I estimated that, and obviously that's hard to estimate until you know how many students are going. And I estimated about $100 per student. Then possible food on the road, $30 per student, both on the way down and back. Some money to cover chaperone trip expenses. They do cover 2 chaperones, I believe, if you have 25 students, 2 to 3. But then, of course, there's a plane ticket. So we're talking about $1,200 per student. It has to be a minimum of 25 students. I was thinking 1 adult per 10 students of the same gender. As far as fundraising plans, it's educational, so I was hoping we could get sponsorship. I know a lot of the students that I think would really benefit from going would need some help financially. Because they themselves are responsible for paying for their own college. So just wasn't sure if there'd be some sponsorship available. Maybe we could do some fundraising depending on what they come up with. Usually they come up with better ideas than I do anyway for fundraising, and then they're more bought in anyway. I was looking at a deadline. It has to be October because this is in February. So I'll talk about that. That's at the bottom. I would say like a minimum of $500 before October 15th for students, just to kind of get their, to get that commitment, at least that dollar commitment, monetary commitment. And then we're working on the eligibility. We're looking at A's and B's in advanced science classes, so definitely botany, zoology. So if they're currently earning A or a B. Then also bringing in physics and chemistry. So for now, that's kind of what we're looking at offered to those students first. And the specific dates that I have down for us, I actually have down for the program, they have us down for this time period is 15th through the 18th. 15th is a Sunday. 16th is a Monday with no school. That is President's Day. And then the 17th and 18th, we would be gone as well. Any questions?
Have you approached the foundation about this?
No, not yet. I just was waiting for approval first. And then I was going to, but that's a great suggestion.
They will be interested.
So do you know any other schools that have done this? Have you, the only way it's taking students on this trip?
This specific trip, no, I know it's geared towards high school age students. I do have a friend in Wisconsin that has taken a group of students to a similar trip in more northern Florida. It was just a different research area.
Further south in February would be better.
That's what, yeah,
Yeah.
that was my idea.
What would be your hope of like the impact to the students or what they could bring back to the class or those that?
Yeah, I mean, just to get them excited about science and know what it entails. Like my daughters a lot of kids are excited about marine biology. And I don't know that they really ever understood what that meant. And then when I tried to explain it to them, they lost interest because they're like, Mom, you get to collect data. And they're like, I don't want to collect data. But if something like this, something like this, they would actually, get a better feel for it. I have few students right now, because I do autobiographies, that are really interested in marine biology. So it would just give them some science ideas to think about as far as careers go.
You said you're thinking juniors and seniors?
Yeah, it'll be primarily juniors and seniors since those are the ones taking advanced classes, although some sophomores do take botany zoology.
From a liability standpoint, is there insurance covered in this? People that are hosting the trip, or?
Yeah, I would assume that they would have liability.
Let's not assume, let's make sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I can check with that. Yeah.
And you talked to your classes about this?
I have not yet because I want to make sure I got approval first.
Is there a minimum amount of students? If only 3 sign up, is it a no-go, or
25.
25?
Mm-hmm.
What's max?
I did check on a max. I think the other program was 50, so I would assume that they have enough room for 50.
So you're thinking 25 head of students, you would take 2 adult chaperones, a male and a female
Uh-huh.
with you? Okay.
Yeah.
What are you asking for us? Just a green light to go ahead and do this? Do you want some
Exactly.
money or, okay.
Green light.
From my seat, I'm saying every
Better than Mississippi.
Yeah. I think you probably got an opportunity. I think this probably gives you, some kids an opportunity they'll never have in life.
Right.
And, if you're thinking you can fund it, go for it. If
Yeah.
you think you can't, then let's talk.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, that'd be great. Because like you said, the funding, I think that's a limitation, especially for kids that wouldn't necessarily have that kind of experience. Maybe they've never even been to Florida,
Yeah, that being said, we're not committing to 40 grand, but.
Might be able to find something.
Yeah, might be able to find something.
I just think it's amazing that we have teachers that are so passionate about their students' learning that they're willing to take, I don't even know how many hours
this
of putting
kind of
into
stuff.
something just to give students an experience. I just think that's phenomenal.
Outside of the classroom learning is wonderful.
Yeah.
From where I sit, so,
Oh, I always, when I cover zoology and I talk about sea life, because that's some of the simplest organisms that you talk about in the very beginning, and I just think, how cool would it be? Let's go snorkeling, guys, and they're always up for it. But it's always hypothetical. Like what if we could? And this is a way that they could. So
you haven't opened this up to the rest of the staff too, to let them start arguing who gets to be the chaperone.
A little bit, but I think myself and then Mr. Wade would be logical because he teaches physics. And he actually, right now, he's got botany zoology just this year because I had an extra chemistry class, so got transferred to him. But I typically teach those classes, so.
Very good. Well, good luck. All out there, so,
Yeah, I'll check on the insurance.
yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Jamie, tough act to follow.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Where are you taking the board?
Yeah.
I'm sharing.
I'm thinking Florida Keys in February sounds pretty good for a board meeting.
Marcus has lots of ideas.
Lots of
I get to talk about those things. So August is, like I mentioned last month, that July and August are pretty inactive months. We don't have a lot to share, but some things to point out are the rest of those accruals have dropped off, so we're just dealing with this school year's activity on our financials now. And I do want to mention that as we discussed last month, we moved $500,000 out of those PMA funds into our Blackhawk account to fund those construction costs. And we will be moving another $750,000 this month to cover the bills that we will be approving tonight. So we'll be making that transfer here this week. And then looking at revenue and expenditures, as I mentioned, this is where you can see the trends of the year. So you'll see that those revenues are high in July and August, but expenditures are pretty low. So we'll start seeing those level out a bit. In September, you'll see expenditures pick up a lot. So looking at interest at Blackhawk Bank and Trust, we're still at that 3.66%. I do apologize, that's not at the top of the August section. Not a lot of difference from last month, but I do want to mention that we were discussing possibly keeping more money at Blackhawk because there was some discussion about them raising the interest rate. However, it's all based on us putting, having all of our funds collateralized with a Bank of Chicago. And there's just a lot of that just doesn't seem quite right, and not something that we're ready to jump on yet. So we got a good thing going with PMA. Blackhawk's not offering any more than that. I don't see a reason for us to change how we're collateralizing our funds when we have something that's working well for us. So we're just going to keep using PMA as our investment tool.
Sounds good to me.
And then you'll notice that we do have that bond management report for August. Okay, yes, that was not in the original packet, but it was provided in your folder. And you'll see that we're still earning that 4.1%. That's not really changed since we started investing in these funds, so that's good. I know there was some concern about those percentages dropping, but so far they're holding tight, and we're still under that arbitrage threshold that we want to stay under. So right now, all the interest we're earning, we're keeping. So.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We don't want to stay under that, they just tell us we have to stay under it, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And then lastly, looking at the food service report. So this time of year, we have a lot of money coming in for deposits. This does not include everything that came in during August, because that actually hits our bank in September. So those online payments. So I expect those deposits probably be even higher as people are dumping money in at the, right before school starts. So we should see this go up a little bit. We did have some discussions with Sarah Bonzak, our auditor. They are planning to provide you some more information when they present the audit, probably November. Nothing was concerning to her. She agreed that this is a service that the school provides, and that our financial position is not out of line for what she's seen in other districts, but she is going to put some comparisons together for you guys so you can see where we're sitting with surrounding districts.
When do you anticipate that next month?
It's usually November, so we, because we are in a school district now, their field work is later because we have to account for all of the activity of July and August that is kind of correlated with the last school year. So when we were cash basis, they came in July, get it done quickly because it was based on whatever had happened as of June 30th. So
So you don't expect them rolling in until next month? Is that what you're saying?
Right, yeah.
As, I assume, the amount of cash and checks you handle for lunch has gone down dramatically.
Significantly. I really noticed it more this year probably than any other year, when I was going to enter our deposits for the month. Fraction of what we normally have. It's been great, so.
Good.
From a security standpoint, it's great, but also, just the overall way things work, with Paywat, and it's going a lot better. I think your, emails you're getting for things that aren't going through have decreased, a bit, and so,
We have a great contact.
yes, yeah, who has stayed there, and he's been with us from the beginning, so,
That costs what, 3%?
it's about that, yeah, I should know. But, yes, it's around, it's that or under, so.
Yeah, that's a great
Yes,
service.
yeah, it's going great. The file that we pull in from Paywat is getting bigger, and the actual money handling is definitely going out quite a bit, so it's great.
That file goes directly to the student right through Lumen, we don't have to touch it.
Yep,
move
it's
around.
immediate. And with our secretaries who are juggling so many different roles, that takes extra a little bit off of them as well, so.
Good. Very good. Any questions for Jamie? Very good, thank you. All right, FOIA requests. Well, there's quite a few of them there this one.
Here are Mr. Lang back. So,
Everybody have fun tonight.
was that? So yeah, so we've had a few other ones. I would say anything out of the complete and belong on board.
Nothing that concerned us.
And you send it to them or you just?
Our lawyer is touched base with them a handful of times. Different law firms will tell you different pieces of the law, so it's going to respond unless it's something. I mean, we've had a few that are out of the blue that have requests denied because it's not flavorful information, but for the most part, if it's flavorful information, he does suggest that we drive and get it once requested.
And we get what we have that's readily available, and if it's not necessarily in the exact format that they're requesting, he's told us we don't need to create anything new, so we're able to just get what we have, so it's pretty quick.
Good. So, yeah, other than that, like I said, nothing crazy for you.
6-day enrollment?
Yep, 6-day enrollment came in. Total throughout the district, we're at 1,054 students. That is down a little bit from 1,078 from last year, but as you know, now we have 2 less kindergarten group as well, or pre-K, I'm sorry, that's pre-K, yeah. So, I'm assuming our wait list is still a mile long. So we'll be excited when we're able to get, possible, ultimately 4 classrooms in the new building, help our community members out to be able to get them in, get services and get them acclimated to school and all things that pre-K does great for the kids. So, but otherwise, you know, our high school enrollment, we lost a big class. I think our IHSA, we were talking about IHSA, this year's 326, we're actually throwing 5 this year, so IHSA is always the last year that you were, not the current year. We're close to one next year, so we'll see. Mr. Hill's so close to dropping down music for a little bit, but would you say 300 will have to be 300, so. We still want more, we still invite everyone to come to Rockridge, but that's where we're at.
All right.
Yeah, and the projection one in there, in your packet there is just, this is Aspen has always had one, and gives us an example of what we're going to, so.
Hopefully we get an elementary school open, it kind of changes that calculation.
I hope so.
I was just curious because it looked like they had kind of that wave at the 3rd and 4th grade, and that's kindergartens come back to like the average we have for high school kind of thing. But I just wondering too, with COVID coming out, like the COVID kids, do they anticipate kind of a bump for next year?
It's hard. It's hard, 'cause it's like you can have a big class and then have
Right,
a
exactly.
small class, and then it's difficult to project as our kindergarten. I mean, it'll be nice like that when we have 4 classrooms in pre-K, that we have a really good idea from our 3-year-olds to our 5-year-olds of where kind of we stand for the most part. So right now it's just difficult because I think we have 16 in pre-K right now, which makes it difficult to project that for next year. But normally in January, we kind of kick out, hey, listen, if you're planning on sending kids, we'd like to know. You don't have to, but we'd really like to know so we can plan and kind of set that up and kind of keep those kindergarten classes low, but know that we're have to do something with our second grade group for next year as well, just because of the numbers. That first grade group's a little higher than the current first grade group. So, see that. So, we'll get there.
Do we get info from any of the other private schools in the area?
No, we don't, we haven't, but that's something we can look into.
All right. Delegate to attend the convention ISB delegate assembly in November.
So this is for Triple I we go to in November, myself going, Rory's going, Amy's going, Eric's going, Manny's going, okay. And so this is where, was it? Ryan's going? Right.
This is
Thanks.
the conference in
I think I
Chicago.
did sign up for that.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. And this is the one I think Amy's done it the last.
Yep,
Two
the last
weeks.
2 years, so yeah. Yeah, Lori, I talked to Lori and she said she would like to do it, so I'm being fine with that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I did look, before the meeting, there is only one resolution submitted this year, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, only one.
Wow.
And it's on, it's on school bus safety funding for the seatbelts, so that
At
is.
least we're not arming bus drivers.
And it's, of course, the resolution committee recommends do adopt it, so.
They adopt seatbelts in school buses.
Well, it was passed in, I think, it says Senate Bill 191 requires all newly acquired school buses to include the 3-point seatbelts. And this is to, the resolution is recommending that the state provides funding, if I'm reading it correctly, quickly, so.
Otherwise, it'd be another unfunded mandate.
Yes, so yeah, that'll be the one resolution.
It was interesting to see what comes
It
out of there.
is, it's an interesting process.
That changes the whole dynamics. You have to wear a seatbelt on a school bus.
Yes, it does. Yes, very interesting to see how that's going to play out.
So does that mean that every new bus that we get will have to have seatbelts on it?
From the way I read it, it's a newly produced bus. So like we bought one brand new bus this year. Well, the idea is that the air conditioned lease, but the buses that are air conditioned brand new will come off lease hopefully the end of this year. So we may be able to purchase a leased bus that's new to us, but not brand new. I think that's what it's kind of talking about, is anything produced now starting moving forward has to have those buses.
So is air conditioning on a school bus a new invention?
Yeah. Not invention, not new. They're coming standard now.
Okay.
The whole bus air conditioning is now standard with the real brand new buses. But Jesse, working with Jesse, we bought one brand new, 0 miles, air conditioned, good stuff. It's a shock right now because that flight is on the course, but that's a whole different conversation we had, but that's okay. But we're actually working with Jesse to be able to budget in there to be able to get some of our newer buses to get air conditioned in them as well. So that way, hopefully when the new building opens, this is air conditioned. Majority, not all of our routes will be air conditioned as well. So we're trying to kind of piece things together and trying to, as long as those buses don't go through nothing more, so. But yeah, you send them up like North Carolina and get them professionally installed or something like that, they come, take them out there, come back, fine. Yeah, they found it. Yeah. Wolf. Wolf. There's the dog. Oh, yeah. So,
So,
Yeah.
and just to give you guys a little more background on it, the delegate assembly, any school district in the state has a certain time period that they can submit resolutions that they would like representatives from IASB to work with our local or state politicians to push through these bills. Like in this case, to get funding for seatbelts on buses. So the last year, I think there were 5 or 6 resolutions submitted. The past couple of years there were, so.
When you vote on there too, right?
Yes,
So we'll
so they
send-
submit the resolutions and then we just, I mean, it's only one right now and I can say you guys are probably all on board for funding for seatbelts on
Yeah, we
buses.
just assume that the state pay for it.
So Lori will go to the delegate meeting and if that's.
Oh, yeah.
What you.
I'll send them
There's
like arm
some-
wrestler for the radio.
not a lot.
Sit there for
Yeah.
4 hours and then vote.
So there's, one representative from every school board in the state has the opportunity to go to the delegate meeting and vote on the resolutions that are requested, so.
I believe we should be preparing for that.
Right now, they have the time periods where you can submit as a school board. I think 2 years ago, Mercer County school board member had submitted a resolution for, it was transportation, but it was some kind of transportation funding because most of the schools in Illinois do not have to pay for school buses because they live in areas where they have public transportation and so the bigger cost to these rural school districts. And like that, I don't know whatever came of that. At the delegate assembly, it was voted yes, but then some of the things we hear back from IASB on and some of the things we don't. So whatever they can work with our state politicians on. It's an interesting process.
At the November board meeting, we'll do the official vote thing.
Sure.
Right, very good.
Okay.
Are you going this year? You're in charge, Marcus. All right, new elementary, special meetings.
Yeah, so I reached out, actually Andy reached out. There's been, I think, 80, 90 pages of addendums to, which is fine, I'd rather get it done now. And he asked, our current setup is that those bids would be due the 19th and opening the 19th, but he's asked if we can push back that bid opening date to the 26th. And if you're okay with that, I think I got pretty much feedback that it was okay to do that. Do it right, give them time to make sure the bid's done right, so on and so forth. So if you're okay with that, I'll confirm with Andy to make sure that he's good, and he can send it out to the contractors. And then the next question would be then if we'd like to move that bid approval meeting as well, we'd have to do that. Currently that was scheduled for the 23rd, but we're gonna go ahead and cancel that one. So if you want to look at that week of the 29th through the 3rd, I don't know if you want to keep it on that.
Yeah, we want to move to the 30th, right?
If you'd like to move it to the 30th. Or if you want to switch a day, like it.
Yeah, 30th.
There's nothing on the 23rd.
Nothing on the 23rd, that one will be canceled.
Do it at 5:30 again?
I won't be able to be here, but I'm fine.
When's
If you guys have
the
enough.
bids due?
If you're okay with it, the bids will be switched, it'll be
26th.
due on the
Is that gonna
26th.
be enough time for them to go through it? I mean, they got a lot of stuff to go through. This one.
It was, I mean, mind you, it was just what we had for the 2 bid openings before. We can move it later if you
Well, I
want to do a Wednesday or a Thursday, I'm okay, but.
is Hodge gonna have enough time to go through?
Andy felt comfortable with that time frame, but like I said, if you want to hold off, and maybe I could email and we could push it out again of when we're gonna have the special meeting too, but Andy didn't, I texted with him today, and he didn't have any hesitation as far as that 30th being an approval date, unless it comes back to maybe we'd like to do interviews or anything like that, we'd be kind of pressed for time again if we were.
Let's tentatively plan the 30th, and anything that we need to have a special, you know, can down a little bit more time. We'll do that.
I will double check with Andy tomorrow, and if anything changes or if you'd like more time, I'll let you.
If there's interviews we need to do, we can do it like we did on that.
Is there a second date that you'd be okay with? Like, would that Thursday be okay?
The second,
Yeah, so
Okay, good there?
second one, everybody?
Second's good. Right. So I will check with him and get back to you all tomorrow, or Wednesday, for letting him know what he feels comfortable with.
Sounds good.
I was just curious, like the word process, like for the Earth Radio one, like we approved it, like how long does it take them to turn around it, like to work it?
I thought it was only a couple days that we got the email with Apollo Excavating for their approval email. So it wasn't very long at that time.
Okay.
Only thing else I got is, still looks like it's 90 for Wednesday, Thursday. I'm sure looking at 130 dismissals. In this building, you can be in this hallway, it's okay, you can be in that hallway, it's okay. And it's super hot in this hallway, it's kind of hot there, and then you go down to junior high, and it's another 20 degrees hotter, and then you go down to sixth grade hallway, it's only 10 degrees hotter there, so.
Well, the walls aren't dripping yet, are they?
They're not, the humidity's not here, which has been
That helps.
beneficial, and it cools down in the morning, and that helps. But in the afternoon, it gets rough in the buildings, and that's why we look at those 130 dismissals, they do count as a full day. We get to feed kids both breakfast and lunch, getting out of here. So, more than likely, we send out that information relatively quickly if you're okay by that 1:30 through Wednesday, Thursday as well.
Probably the biggest headache for Mrs. Baker and Mrs. Corlett, I imagine.
Oh,
They have 1:30 schedules.
Yeah. I mean, the junior high schedule is a little crazy on 130 days, but we survive, we make it through. Don't ask Mr. O about it.
redid the schedule just in case, so.
Yeah, for
Right.
Friday.
Fine with this?
Just get through this, and this will be our last 90-degree day.
I don't really think.
Yep.
All right, at this time, we'll turn to closed session. We'll talk about personnel, student discipline, school building, safety, and security. I entertain a motion to adjourn to closed session. So moved. All in favor? All right.